You gave a TED Talk on rapping hip hop in education and its place in education.
Right.
For people that haven't seen it, you should check it out. The TikTok, if you look up, I think the name of it, because I had just recently checked it out because I wanted to make sure that I had the title right because I'd seen it a couple months ago. Hip hop's place in education.
Yeah, that's the
TED
one.
Talk.
Yeah.
You did it at Beloit College.
I did after I graduated.
I have so many questions about this.
Sure.
First off, how do you get asked to do? How does becoming a TED Talk speaker happen? How do you get asked? Do they ask you? Do you apply?
I got nominated by the dean of
Interesting.
the college. They wanted to do a TEDx event, and I was, I think, one of 2 alumni who got reached out to.
Interesting.
The rest were like professors, and so yeah, it was basically like, hey, we want you to apply for this TED event, so we need like a 11-page brief summary of like what you'll be doing, and you have like 2 weeks to submit it. And I was like, oh
Wow.
I didn't even know that this was on my radar and that I already have a deadline, and like, holy shit. So it was like,
What did they think you were going to talk about? What you ended up talking about?
yeah, because I outlined it all in the like whatever form, and I even got to do like a mini run through a couple days prior. I ended up scrapping the whole thing the night before, by the way. I finally reread the rules and was like, oh, I didn't cite these sources right. This image is, oh man. So I just chucked it, which I think saved me because it was so fresh in my mind. I was like cramming procrastinator style that I didn't use a note card. I just like, I'd take a little peek at the screen and be like, I've memorized these over the past 4 hours. Like,
Yeah.
So the experience itself was unreal.
I mean, it's crazy, dude. You fucking gave a TED Talk.
Yeah,
You had a post somewhere buried in your Instagram that was like, "Welcome to my TED Talk" with a
Yeah.
picture of you in it. And
Yeah,
I'm just like,
well-
dude, that's hilarious because of like the meme of that and how people say that. But like, you actually gave a fucking TED Talk.
Yeah, it has special meaning to me too, because TED Talks, there were some that saved my life. When I was 18, going into sophomore year of college, I was really, really in a dark place, and the concept of humanism was something that I started to gravitate to. As an atheist, I was like, humanistic, okay, that's really important to me. But then the other thing was the TED Talks, and humanist TED Talks, and I was just like, I remember in my head saying, I need to give one of these one day, but I did not anticipate like 2 years later getting an email, dude. So
That's a manifestation right there.
yeah,
Dude.
I almost actually applied to do a TED residency a couple of years ago, where you go live in New York for like a month at the TED headquarters, and then you give an actual TED Talk. But
Damn.
I got so nervous during the application process. It was so lengthy. It was like a boot camp for just vetting out and I'm like, okay, maybe one other day, some other time I'll try it. But
That's fair.
yeah, man.
That's crazy. So,
Thanks.
I want to get into some of the stuff you talked about on it because I think you did a phenomenal job.
Thank
first
you.
off, it looks like an interesting atmosphere, especially for someone speaking about hip hop. Is it
lecture little room?
Is it weird or intimidating to break out into rap mid thing in front of a bunch of I don't want to say that's everybody, but I think most people. What's the demographic of people that go to a TED Talk? I should say.
Oh, that's a great
A
question.
lot of older.
I think it kind of varies based on the region, based on
Who was
what's
at
going
yours?
on. Well,
A lot of old white guys.
Well, it was hosted at the college, so there were like actual college students who dropped in. There were a limited amount of
that's good.
tickets. A lot of them went to family members, and also just like all of the administrators. Like the president was sitting in the front row, like next to my grandma and grandpa, and I'm just like, this is a lot to take in.
Yeah.
But also the lights were really bright. I didn't really see anyone but the front row, which I think was worse because it was just my family and like the head honcho.
Yeah. And then
breaking out in a song was really I don't like doing that. I've learned I forget what it's called. I don't know if it's a Malcolm Gladwell book. I think the book's called Choke. But in times of intense nervousness and anxiety, your vocal register actually goes up. It inflects. It becomes like less dipped down. So I just remember when I started breaking out into that, I can just hear my voice, and I'm just like, ooh, that register, man, you should have. You should have figured that one out. But it was about the message within it, and I think that's the coolest part about. I just wanted to have a TED Talk. I didn't know why. I thought maybe I would be doing something that was worth saying, and then I had the opportunity to kind of rehash all of my idols and mentors through the educational feel and what they're up to, and like what we could really do pedagogically to like reinvigorate our youth.
Yeah.
Like there are so many ways to engage and to help explore inner narrative, and I loved all of that.
Yeah.
I taught in high schools. I did literature and identity, social justice kind of workshops. Those were fun.
That's what I was going to ask. So you did high school. You taught in high school?
I taught in high school. I taught in middle school. I taught anti-bullying. I was an anti-bullying coordinator for middle school kids.
Very cool.
That was really great. I love those kids.
And so you mentioned one of the big words of your presentation. Culturally, what is it? Culturally relevant pedagogy.
Yeah.
Is something that you speak of in this TED. What the fuck is that for people to know?
Well, okay, so pedagogy just means teaching practices.
Mm-hmm.
Like a pedagogical practice is just how you teach. So making a teaching practice rooted in cultural relevance is what you try to start at. Like in a classroom, where does the culture reside? The relevant culture. Is it necessarily always going to be in this textbook, this outdated textbook? Or do we have enough narratives amongst ourselves that if we just apply some lenses in multidisciplinistic ways and stuff, like we arrive not only at a more knowledgeable conclusion about the world, but the classroom as a community, and then yourself in negotiation with those things.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to, bring up the relevancy of, especially when it comes to culture. I mean, hip hop specifically is the most popular genre in the world right now. Has been for a couple years.
Hell yeah.
Probably gonna be for a few more years, quite a few.
Yeah.
I mean, let's hope so. I enjoy it quite a bit.
What do you think it is about it?
I think
it surpassed what? What did it just surpass? Was it pop?
I don't.
Or
Yeah.
was it like,
well,
I think rock was
prior.
a while ago.
Yeah, rock was like quite a while ago, but I think like pop music, because now pop music, they rap.
Morphing into
yeah. Like Ariana Grande's got a verse on Thank You Next and shit like that.
Doja Cat's the shit.
Doja Cat is the shit. I'll put some
like
fucking
that.
respect on Doja Cat's name,
That's
bro.
right.
She is phenomenal.
Yeah.
She's a gifted rapper as well as a
For
pop
sure.
artist. But
yeah, I think one thing too, real quick, is to me the thread was so visible with hip hop and its identity, man. It's your narrative, like putting just any energy you infuse into a product that you release outside of yourself. That's what it's about.
Well, and I think the beauty, I think it's the realness of it. I think it's the way that you can just sort of, how I was explaining earlier, point things out and be like, this is what's going on. Not that you can't do that in other genres, but I've noticed as hip hop has become the most popular genre, it's made other genres better, in my opinion.
That's a good point.
Like, I mean, pop music, there's a lot
worse, like country.
Yeah, so there's some worse.
No,
but
there's some.
But I mean, even pop music, man. Like, you think about it now. Like, I was jokingly saying, Ariana Grande will drop a 16 in a song.
Yeah.
But she can do things in that 16 that she may not have been able to get across or do in the rest of a traditional formulaic pop song. And I think it's made pop music more real. It's made a lot of pop artists more relatable. Not saying that if you don't enjoy the genre that you should just bite it just so you can chart on urban radio as well. That's fucked up. But I think in general, a lot of the hip hop music that becomes pop music that goes charts number one. I mean, even look at someone like Drake, dude. He's, a lot of Drake's stuff, people have their opinions on him, but I mean, he's popularized a lot of rap.
Thanks for watching that last video, guys. Click right over here to see the episode in its entirety, or click over here to subscribe and check out all the other cool shit we have on the channel. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Do it.